Excited about getting a win, getting the loss out of the way. I thought it was a good week for us to play Mineville, Ohio, rival game. We had our guys' attention, I thought, even more as we've gone through the season in practice. You know, we've got a lot of young guys that are having to play, maybe not as starters, but as backups or special teams. And I think they're starting to learn the significance of focus, during the week. But it still gets to me a little bit, and we've tried to figure it out. We just don't play well in the first part of that game for some reason against Miami, Ohio, and hopefully we can rectify that, but not taking anything away from them. They always play hard. I sit right in this room every year and tell our guys on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, the fight that we're going to be in. Don't look at the records. Just look at the guys you're playing against. They take a lot of pride in that game, and as they did this past game, and we're very fortunate to have won in the fourth quarter. At times we look good on offense. We've got a good offensive football team. We're just not very consistent. We've had 11 turnovers, and you're not going to win many games doing that. We had 4 in the second half last week. You could say with a new quarterback, maybe 1, at the most 2, but 4 is really hard to overcome. But, we've gone back and looked at it. 11 turnovers we've had, and our defense has only given up 13 points off of turnovers, which is very significant. We've gotten better on defense. We're going to continue to get better if we can stay healthy and quit losing guys. It's hard to lose an Adrian Witty, with the experience that he's got, but we've lost him for the year. And he was operated on yesterday, was very successful, very freak injury, but, those happen. Now somebody's got to step up. We're looking at several combinations there. But offensively, we ran the ball better last week. We're a little bit more consistent. We had some big plays. Mike Boone had a big play. Give us an opportunity to get what I call a cheap touchdown, which we don't get very many of or haven't this year. Everything's kind of earned. And, just looking at the offense, quarterbacks, wide receivers, we're better now than we were, but we haven't got a lot of time to waste. We've got to get much better as we get back into conference play on offense. Defense is, again, we're still work in progress. We're making mistakes. They did a good job last week of up-tempo on us. We got outflanked on some of the runs that they had. We couldn't get them off the field. And when that happened, it just took the ball out of our offensive hands after we got off to a very good start. And, again, that's just good coaching from their part and bad from our point of view in terms of getting our guys settled down and making sure they get going, because that's not the last time they'll see up-tempo. We'll see it almost every game. Injury situation, Gunner practiced some yesterday. He'll be day-to-day. He took some snaps, threw the ball. It wasn't a head injury. It's more of a shoulder, in the shoulder type of injury. He wanted to come back in the game, precautionary. We said, hey, we're not going to take any chances. He's got a long year in front of him. It's time to get Hayden in the game. And fortunately, we were able to pull it out with Hayden in the game. I thought, obviously, if Gunner would have stayed healthy, not having turned the ball over the first half, he was getting stronger and stronger, and we're getting more confidence. Mike Boone, we took him out of the game because he had a tweaked ankle the week before after, I think, 10, 12 plays. That was our game plan because we've got 2 other running backs. We're trying to get him 100% healthy. We know what kind of running back he is. Offensive line, we had Chad West at guard. He'll play there some this week. Darius Ray will hopefully be back 100%, close to 100%, so we'll have a little bit of a rotation there. We're just trying to find more guys and get more guys with experience on the offensive line. But again, defensively is the area that we've really got to focus on. We lost a starting linebacker, now we lost a starting corner, and we've got to have some young guys step up. Okay, going into the Memphis game this week, just watching Memphis on film, it'll be the best team that we've played. They're on a roll. They've won 10 straight games. Justin Fuente has done an excellent job there in 4 years. They've got a lot of speed, quickness. They attack you on defense. They're very fast on offense. This is the best quarterback I've seen this year just watching football games. He's still the best. I don't care who is playing and what level of Power 5, any of that stuff. This kid's good. He's 6'7", can run, throws the ball with accuracy, throws a deep ball well. They do a lot of play action. They use him with all their receivers, tight ends, wideouts. I mean, it doesn't make any difference. They get the ball off. And then along with their running game, it's a very good offense. It kept us off balance all last year. They came after us. They hit us in the mouth. We didn't respond after us getting off to a good start. So their offense is picked up. Like, as I said, they've won 10 straight. I mean, that's amazing. We're talking about Memphis, who a few years ago was not in the ballpark to have to win 10 games. But now they have really done a good job of recruiting, getting speed on campus, and turning their guys loose and playing with a lot of confidence. Last week they played Bowling Green, a good football team who beat Maryland the week before, and they went for 3 4th downs and made all 3 of them. Memphis did. Faked a punt. I mean, they did everything to win the ball game, and they made plays, and they know how to win games now. That in 5 6 years ago, that wasn't the case in terms of Memphis in the football side of things. Their defense is a little bit young. They got a new defensive coordinator. They lost some defensive players plus a D coordinator last year, went to Missouri, but they're still the same type of pressure defense. They do a lot of different things, give you problems, and this is a game that going on 4 days really of practice, 3 days of practice. We've got to really be mentally into the game. So that being said, we're excited about this game. National television, on the road. It'll be the biggest crowd, probably in the Liberty Bowl Stadium, other than some of the SEC teams that they play that are close by. And they're really building this up, and I don't blame them. We tied them last year for the conference championship, and they've been looking for this game to get off to a good start in the conference, and hopefully we can go play much better. We're going to need to do that. Questions?
Which shoulder is hurt? Is it a throw shoulder?
Just both of them. And no, it's not. It's more in the upper shoulder. It's not a rotator cuff or anything. He just got hit from behind.
So it doesn't hurt his throwing?
No. There's no problem throwing football.
He just has sore.
Yeah. He got hit pretty awkwardly from behind as he was running, and then. But there's no shoulder problem.
Sounds like he'll probably play.
He'll have a good chance to play. Yeah, have a good chance to play. But he's got to show me today. Again, he hadn't taken a lot of reps, and so he'll have to show me today that he understands what we're doing, what we're trying to get out of the offense. Hayden's taking a lot of snaps. Hayden's going to be a good football player. Although he turned the ball over 4 times, one inside the 5-yard line, which was probably the play of the game, where we turned it over and our defense held them to a field goal. If they had scored a touchdown there, that would have been really reeling. But our guys showed a lot of character of fighting and finding a way to win the game. Now we've got to play much better. We can't play like we played the last 3 weeks on the road against a team like Memphis. We can't do that. We've got to go play better, play with more confidence, and play all 3 phases of the game. Our kicking game was good last week. Our punter actually out-punted coverage. He averaged 55 yards a punt. He's getting much, much better. Field goal guy was right on. Kickoffs were good except for one. Coverage teams were good, so we're making progress there. Running game's making progress. Defense is getting better. It's just now we've got to step it up a notch in all areas and the backups. It's going to be a hot, humid game on the river in Memphis, and we've been a little bit of cool weather here, so we're going to have to play a lot of players.
If Gunner, if his arm wasn't hurt and his head hit his head, what was the mindset? What was the thought process to keep him?
He wanted to come back in. It's just the doctor said, we don't want to put him back out there with him stiff. He was real stiff, and we don't want to put him in harm's way. And don't think I wasn't asking, especially after that second turnover. That's going to happen with a young kid out there in that kind of situation. But good learning experience for Hayden. But for us to go forward, obviously we're going to need Gunner to be our guy, which he has been, and we'll have to wait and see. I'm not trying to hold him back from. They know we're going to play Gunner if all possible. And y'all know it, I know it, everybody knows it. So he'll practice today, and we'll have walkthroughs tomorrow and before we leave, and in Memphis. So we'll let Bob Mangine handle the rest of it. But he wanted to come back in. They a lot of it now, as we all know, it's all precautionary, every bit of it.
Witty working so hard to get back this year, getting the extra year of eligibility, and then to see that happen. It's hard kind of breaking the coach to see that.
Yeah, he is. It just makes you feel for the kid. You know, he had to listen to me last year in staff meetings, and we made him go out there and coach, and then he learned a lot, and he worked the kids out very hard. You know, he's one of our team captains. It just makes you feel for a kid that's, heck, he's older than some of y'all in here. You know, he's 24 years old or whatever, and works hard in practice. It was a very fluke deal. The guy came down with his knee on his ankle, and you don't see that. I mean, but it is what it is, and life lessons, and he'll fight through it. And I just saw him in the training room, and he'll have a hard rehab, and you know, just get him back to going, and his football career looks like it's just about done.
I don't know that coach has ever had a good answer for this, but I don't even know why I asked it. But why all the turnovers? Is there anything you can pinpoint why you turned the ball over?
Well, the two of them were handoff, you know, with Hayden, and we never, you know, that's pretty routine for your starting quarterback and your backs for handoffs. So we can discount those as they were Hayden's fault, and you know he knew that. He come to the sideline, you know, the pocket's the same, all that, and you know you do it hundreds and hundreds of times. It's just a different mesh point for different quarterbacks. Their arms are longer or shorter, or, you know, they get too big a hurry, nerves. The interceptions, you know, he forced it. I mean, it's his fault. I mean, it's bottom line. Quarterbacks have to take responsibility. It wasn't receivers' routes, wasn't anything other than the fact that he tried to force it into an area. And you know, we had two more fumbles. And you know, Chris Moore had a fumble. Could have been devastating. And then I think I think Hayden got hit in the pocket and fumbled the ball, and we happened to fall on it. So there was two more fumbles that we could have lost. We're not going to win any more games. I mean, with the teams that we're playing, if we turn the ball over 5 or 6 times, you know, we're not good enough. I mean, we're not good enough to beat teams. I don't think anybody is. So it's not focus. It's just, you know, we just got to execute better, I guess you could say, Bill. You know, it's like turnovers in basketball. You know, you gotta be focused on what you're doing. You can't shoot from the hip.
One of the hardest things to teach a quarterback is when to go for it, and when he's forced it, and when he's really got an opening.
Yeah, you know, still a lot of teams focus on just one read. I mean, they know who they're going to throw it to. We don't do that. And, you know, we want our kids to understand how to play quarterback, because you can get better at playing your offense if you give them, you know, reads. You know, in pro ball, you know, you look at these guys that are they're making $10, $15, $20 million, and they still do the same thing, you know. But you got to think about it. You know, you're in that pocket. You're not in the stands like we are and seeing guys open. They're looking between people and you know, feeling somebody breathing down their neck. I mean, there's a lot of things that goes on in that pocket. And so there's times that we designate what they do, but you know, to make this offense really work, pro-style offense, you've got to give them the opportunity to you know, go through a progression. And Gunner is not to utopia doing that, but he is, you know, he's so much farther along than Hayden, and that's what reason Gunner gives you so much more chance with the receivers that we have. You can't, you know, just specifically cover one guy. I mean, you've really got to cover all of our guys. I've talked to a lot of people who's played us on defense that, you know, we don't play every year out of our conference, whatever, and they really struggle with our offense, just the simple fact that they got to cover the field. And we want everybody to have to cover the field, not one person.
Will we see Clemente Cassius this season?
Don't know. It's still, you know, you saw what I saw. I haven't talked to him. You know, he got in that situation, going through a process, and you know, we're obviously, you know, bound by what everybody, you know, the rules that are governed. And you know, my last statement to him was, you know, you got to be 100% cleared. You know, you dug this hole yourself. You got to get out of it.
Coach, you said after the game about Gunner that the way you got hit was so fuzzy. You didn't go under any kind of concussion protocol.
Oh yeah, they went through all of it, and there was no concussion at all. They went through. He just, I guess, when you get hit, like that, he had no memory loss or blurred vision or anything like that, or confused. None of that was there. It's just, it is what it is. I mean, you have rippling effects. You might get hit in the legs and still get dizzy. It's like Shaq, for instance. We sent it in, there was said there was no head-to-head, which was fine. His was more of an inner ear deal. Everybody said, how can you put a guy back in that got a concussion? He didn't have a concussion. I mean, it was kind of like you put him on a merry-go-round real fast, and he gets up, he can't stand up because of the inner ear was jarred. He never, and we took him in, gave him all of it. And again, all I do is listen. They come tell me yes or no, and we're going to be very, very proactive in the question mark. We're not going to take any chances. And they said 100% he's ready to go. So we put him back in the game. And, now if he'd have said he couldn't go back in, he wouldn't have gone back in. That's his decision too. But it did look a little weird, him getting up off, and he wants to play. He was afraid Bob Mangini was going to come out there and tell him he wasn't going to be able to play again. So he was going to show him he could get up. That didn't work, Looked like one of the boxers that you see sometimes get up after getting knocked down.
When Gunner says he wants to come back in the game, did he say that to you? Did he say it to the doctor? Like, how insistent is he?
That point never got to me. And unless they 100% clear him, then they'll come say, I didn't afterwards. I said, what'd y'all do? What'd you feel like? And it just got to a point where the number one guy, Dr. Devine, says, I'm not letting him go back in the game. He's not going back. I don't beg or anything. That's, if it was my kid, I'd do the same thing, so.
Is there a timeline for him as far as when you need to know which guy is going to be under center?
Well, we're just going to see how far he's progressed, his soreness and all that for the next, I guess 48 hours. We're playing about 54 hours from now. So, but he had to do something yesterday. He came out and threw the ball around, took some snaps. Now, he did not take near as many snaps as Hayden, but he's going to have to show progress today. And we'll sit down and talk and go from there.
Most coaches would make a big mystery out of this and try to keep the other team guessing. It doesn't seem like you're doing that. It seems like you're being pretty honest. When you don't play that.
No, I mean, it makes no difference if we run the same offense with both of them. Now, if one's going to be a different offense, then it'd make a difference. But what we do is what we do, and so the game plan wouldn't be any different. And we do change, depending on what they do on defense, and that's the reason the Gunner's got to know what they're doing over there. Of course, he's watched all the film and all that, but he's got to go in some kind of tempo to make sure he understands and can make those reads that we want him to make.
You had a chance to talk to Hayden after the game. How was he? Like, I'm sure it was disappointing with turnovers, but he won. He got the game-winning touchdown, drive, scored a game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
What did he think about it?
He had a smile on his face. He was still in a little bit of a shock of having to go out there and win a ball game in major college football and bring us from behind after making mistakes. But the good thing about it, he kind of shook it off, went back out there and kept going. And, we got nobody else. There was nobody else to put in at that point. We've got that it played, and so he knew that the ball was in his hands. And Eddie Grant told him, about midway of the third quarter, hey, listen, don't wait for anybody else to come in. I'm not coming in. There's nobody else to put in. Okay, you're the guy. You got to win this game. And it was an excellent learning experience for him. And I think it took everybody's breath, from our standpoint, going that, we got a kid out there that's playing that hadn't played but a handful of snaps, trying to win a rival game with a team that's playing their tail off. And, they're doing a lot of things right, and we're not doing a whole lot of things right. But that last drive was really good. It was really good. I mean, he put it on the money. He knew where to throw it. He threw all perfect throws. He picked out the right guy to throw it to. When it's progression, he never panicked. And that's good to see for one of our future quarterbacks.
What if Hayden got hurt? Then what would
You were next. No, our next quarterback is next quarterback's Luke Wright. Yeah, and then of course we've got Jared Evans, and he takes a few snaps every once in a while. He knows the offense. Of course, he's never run the entire offense because he's a different type quarterback, and so he's a guy that would look for in the future in terms of being a third guy. Now, Luke knows the offense, but he's just so young. He's a redshirt freshman too, and Jared's got a little bit more age to him.
Will Jared Evans get more reps this week, knowing what you know with the other situation?
Yeah. Good point, Tim. Good point. You got a follow up?
What happened to me last week? There are no more follow-ups.
Any other questions?
Mo, you're awful quiet back there.
Just listen, Coach.
Yeah.
How's Mikel McKay doing?
He's good. He'll play. He's practiced. Good question. I forgot about Mikel. We need him. He I think he caught the first play of the game last year for a touchdown in this game. But we held him out last week. Receivers have to be, they're like racehorses. They can't be nicked up. They gotta feel good and all that. And he just didn't feel good. And plus, I got to get him away from me on the sidelines because he's over there coaching and screaming and hollering, and I had to make him get back several times because he's in the game. He's coaching, and which is what you want. But it'll be good to see him back out on the field.